Hello, and welcome to this episode of The Brief. I'm your host, Meredith Reed. I'm here today with Tarah Luster, the co-founder and executive director of Project B3. Project B3 is a nonprofit organization with peer-to-peer mentorship programs that educate students, parents, and teachers on how to build digitally responsible communities. Project B3 encourages students to talk to each other about how to use tech responsibly, and it provides education for both students and parents on how to safely navigate the web and social media. Welcome, Tarah.
Thank you. I'm thrilled to be here. Thank you for the opportunity.
We're so glad to have you. So, can you start by giving us a brief overview and telling us in your own words what Project B3 is all about?
Sure. Project B3 started out as a way to take a different approach to digital responsibility or digital citizenship in the classroom. So we are focused on empowering student voices in digital citizenship. We try to involve the entire community in that we include teachers with lesson plans to follow up, parents with a parent seminar, so that the entire community is kind of centered based on the same three pillars of digital citizenship that we talk to students about, which is be safe, be smart, be kind.
That's such an incredible mission. And I'm wondering what first inspired you to start Project B3? What was the problem that you wanted to solve?
So I have two children. Right now they're 14 and 11, but at the time they were a little bit younger. Social media is something that I actually really enjoy. It's how I spend a lot of my day, searching through social media. I'm kind of, the first generation to kind of really get into social media, and it was something that I enjoyed. But then when we would talk to parents or we would hear from parents, there was all this fear and anxiety and secrecy based on internet usage by students and by kids. And so I really started to get nervous about my own children using social media. And I partnered up with my co-founder, Matt Batt. He would do parent presentations in schools, teaching parents about, how their kids are behaving online, what apps they're using, tips and tricks to kind of help them navigate it in a responsible way. And what we kept hearing from parents was that's great, but they're not listening to us. They're not listening to their parents. They're not listening to their teachers. And so we've got to figure out a way to give them this information in a way that they'll understand and absorb and really connect with. And as a former high school coach, I have seen the power of peer-to-peer relationships. I've seen the power of older students talking to younger students and having the younger students being really receptive to that message, because it's coming from someone who is a little bit older than them, but not too much older, people who they really think are in the know, people who are in the thick of the social media world. And so we created Project B3, not as a way for us to spread the message of digital responsibility, but to empower students to spread that message themselves in a relevant and kind of more current way than we ever possibly could.
That seems like such an incredibly effective strategy. At Spectrum, we care a lot and we talk a lot about keeping children safe online, but ultimately, I don't really know if our messaging is reaching kids. And I think, when I was a kid, whatever my parents told me, it was always the eye roll and like, oh, what do you know? It's safe. It's fine. I know what I'm doing.
Exactly.
And so I could definitely see the peer-to-peer relationships being a much more effective way of reaching children.
Yes. So what we find is that when parents try to talk to students about digital citizenship, and even when parents try to give warnings or, tell stories in a way that will touch their children, they're often very closed off. For some reason, students and children, their internet usage sometimes has a secrecy around it. And so the student leaders really bring they're always relevant. They're right on top of it. They're living right in the middle of it. And so we find that the students really, they really listen to it. And the other big thing about our approach is that we're not trying to be restrictive. We're not saying social media is bad for you, stay away from it. We're not saying parents don't let your children use the internet or look over their shoulder at every moment. We're really trying to convey this message that this is a part of our lives. Social media and technology is a huge part of our lives. And just like anything else, we need to learn to navigate that space on our own, because eventually we're all going to be on our own, making our own choices. And so severely restricting usage doesn't work. It never has, it never will. And so the message coming from our students is more of an open attitude. It has more of an open attitude towards social media and technology use, which you don't technically or usually get from parents and teachers.
Right. I think that's such a great method. Anytime you can empower students and kids to make good decisions on their own, instead of limiting them, then it becomes taboo, and they're actually more motivated and more interested in many cases.
And they become very creative.
Yeah, exactly. So can you tell us more about the types of dangers and toxic behaviors that children are uniquely at risk for encountering online? Why do younger internet users and their parents need to be cautious about online activity?
Well, just like anything in life, and especially when children are involved, there's always this predatory nature to technology and social media. Coming from a standpoint of just predatory behavior, there are things out there that we all know about. There's phishing scams. There are people out there who are trying to get in touch with your children under the guise of being a child themselves. There are ways of getting children's information and putting it all together. We always tell, students, everything you put out there is a piece of your puzzle. And it's really easy for predators to put those puzzles together. On the other side, there is an innate behavioral trend for students who are behind a screen using social media, speaking to someone not necessarily face to face, that encourages bullying behavior. Unfortunately, it's a natural thing for them. It gives them some courage. It gives them a little bit of anonymity when they want to go ahead and put negative feelings out there. So, there's the predatory behavior, there's the negative behavior online toward, peer-to-peer bad behavior, treating each other unkindly. And then there's also the big aspect of it is students who are in 5th grade through 8th grade aren't necessarily thinking about what their digital footprint looks like, right? So they're getting on social media, they're getting a Twitter account, and they're going ahead and putting out all of their feelings and all of their opinions and all of their memes that they think are so funny. And there's a real danger there in damaging their reputation from a very early age. The minute they start putting things out there, they are risking the potential of damaging their reputation down the line. So it's kind of threefold. And that's really, there's so many things to think about. And when you asked me that question, 10 million topics came into my head. But that's why we came up with B3. Be safe, be smart, be kind. You can take all of those concerns and all of those dangers and all of those pitfalls, and you can categorize them into either be safe, be smart, or be kind. So we kind of took a very complex topic and a very complex area to be in and space to navigate, and broke it down simply so that we can have really simple discussions. Be safe is all about keeping your information safe and your actual physical body safe. Be smart is all about protecting your online reputation, and be kind is all about recognizing bullying behavior and combating it.
So, question for you. I'm interested in a little bit more detail on the program. What exactly does it look like? Are you going into classrooms? Is this during school, after school? Where are you doing it? What's the age of the kids? Can you just give us a little bit more information on, on the ground? What is this program looking like?
Yes. So yes, we work with schools generally. We can we've been of service to quite a few different organizations, but mainly our main goal is schools. So a school will invite us in. They will choose student leaders from their school. Usually we're working in middle schools right now. So typically that's a set of 8th graders who show some leadership skills or have a desire to be mentors in their school. We go in And we have that group of student leaders and we have a discussion with them about what's going on in their school, what their experience has been so far with social media, good things that they've seen, bad things that they've seen, things that they're worried about, things that they have experienced themselves, or things that they're wondering about. And then we have this discussion with them to kind of get a feel for, every community is different. Every group of kids is different. They're doing different things. They're using different apps. They're having different experiences. So we get an idea of what their experience is like. And then we introduce them to the pillars of Project B3. Be safe, be smart, be kind. We tell them how, kind of all of these 3 pillars can encompass all of the things that they're worried about, or all of the things that we need to think about when we're talking about digital responsibility. And then we separate them into groups. So we have, 6 student leaders. 2 of them are focused on be safe. So they become the experts on how to be safe online. We have 2 of them that are focused on be smart, and they become the experts on how to be smart online. And then the last 2 are focused on be kind, and they become the experts in their school about how to be kind online. We take them through what we call our leader guide, which is a kind of a guide and a roadmap for them to develop a presentation. And the presentation consists of an activity that they do to demonstrate, safety online. They come up with discussion questions to start a discussion in their classroom to really get students to open up and talk about what their concerns are and what their experiences are. We have them make a plan. So when they're done with their presentation, they make a plan with that group of students that they're talking to and say, okay, so next time we're online and someone is asking us too many questions about ourselves, or we get a weird feeling about this person that we're talking with, what is our plan going to be? And they make a plan together. And then we always use the hashtag B3, B4U, to remind them to be safe, be smart, be kind online. So they develop these presentations all by themselves. It's an open-ended kind of roadmap so that they can put things in that are most relevant to them. A lot of that comes out of that initial conversation that we have with them as to what is important to them and what do they find really to be a current topic. They use, photographs, and they use posts that they have found online, and they kind of develop an activity or a game for that. And then they go into classrooms 15 minutes at a time, and they give their presentations to the rest of the school. So they make it their way all the way through the school, and so that everybody is on board now with what Project B3 is all about. And they have some sort of, kind of basic understanding of what it means to be safe, smart, and kind, and how they can use some of those skills that they've learned in those presentations or workshops, sometimes we call them, to kind of use in their journey moving forward on social media and technology.
And so at this point, it's 8th graders that are leading this program. Is that correct?
At this point, it is. That's our general approach. Logistically, it's the easiest. Lots of schools are kind of broken up into, elementary school, middle school, high school. So right now we use 8th graders, and oftentimes they go through their middle school and they talk to all the students in their middle school. And sometimes they even get on buses and go visit the elementary schools later on in the year and visit those students as well, so that they can also get the same sort of education. And then once we're done with that, once we've done that, we call that the kickoff, where we get everybody on board with the student leaders. Then we do a parent presentation, and we bring the parents on board and say, hey, here's the language that we used with your kids when talking about this. Here is what we told your students. Here's what your students told us. And then we give them some guidelines on how they can kind of keep up this behavior at home, how they can use our kind of approach at home to keep their students safe, and kind of encompass the whole family in that journey.
What is the biggest concern that you hear from students as far as their online safety? Is there anything that stands out to you?
I would have to say that privacy comes up quite a bit. They want to know specifically, if I'm in Instagram, how private are my posts? If I'm online, and how vulnerable am I online? Because that's kind of the scare tactic they get from their parents, unfortunately. But the great news is that there's always an answer. You know, if you're on Instagram and you're worried about your privacy, there's settings. We'll take you through the settings. We'll show you which settings to use to make it more safe for yourself. Another thing is bullying, obviously. There's a lot of cyberbullying. There's a lot of in-person bullying. Students are hesitant sometimes, especially in person. Students are hesitant to jump in and when a bully is creating some sort of wrath. And so they worry about online putting themselves in the line of fire if they were to stand up to a bully. And so we go through all of the ways that they can, kind of combat cyberbullying. So being an upstander, and there's a bunch of different ways you can be an upstander. You can be an upstander right in that moment. You can be an upstander by quietly, privately reaching out to the victim of the bullying. Or, you can kind of do a group mentality and ask other people to help join you in, telling this bully, hey, we're not standing for that. There's a whole group of us that are not willing to put up with your behavior. So those are the two main things, are, online privacy, because that's what they're scared about. And then that bullying factor. And then surprisingly, the thing that they are often surprised by themselves when we talk to them about how to be smart online and building a digital footprint and how it really, you want to be on a high school team, you want to go to college, you want to get a job, you want to join a church and be part of a group of friends, that a lot of times the things that you posted online 10 years ago could come up and thwart your progress. And so that's something that actually surprises them. And then they become concerned with it. Once we've kind of brought it to their attention, then that becomes a concern as well.
Yeah, I think that's something I can relate to from being younger. I think you get kind of tunnel vision in the here and now, and you don't necessarily think about how the funny picture that you post might have negative repercussions on literally your future and where you're able to go to college and maybe a job that you want to get. So it's really great that you're drawing attention to that.
Yeah.
So coming from the other side of the coin, what do you think parents are most concerned about that you find to be the most perhaps ill-informed? Is there something that parents seem to worry too much about, or do you find that generally parents have a level of worry that is appropriate?
I'll be honest, and I will say that I think a lot of times their concern is misplaced. So a lot of times what parents are worried about is, monitoring every move that their child makes. They are interested in how do I see absolutely everything that they're doing? How do I see what they're putting online? Snapchat scares the heck out of them because it's stuff that disappears, right? They're concerned about private conversations on Snapchat, which, the majority of the time are pretty innocent. The majority of the time it isn't filled with, sexting and inappropriate, pictures. And this is just the way they communicate. It's a more fun way to communicate. And so I see a lot of concern put on how to lock it down and how to stop their children. And I think that is possibly the worst approach that they can take, is trying to stop them. So that concerns me when they start to say, well, what's the best monitoring app? How, what about I Spy, or what can I put on their phone so that I can spy on every move they make? That concerns me because they are not teaching self-regulation. They're not teaching, students to think through what they're doing online. They're not giving kind of the few minutes to reflect on their behavior, and they're unwilling to let them make mistakes. Mistakes are scary, but students make mistakes in every area of life, and sometimes that's how we learn. And unfortunately, parents' fear of mistakes and parents' desire to micromanage their online behavior creates a secrecy with their students. Their parents are not going to go to them when they make a mistake. They're not going to ask for advice or guidance or be open to guidance when the parent's main approach is to shut it down or spy. So that's the main concern that I see with parents. I think that they need to focus more on educating themselves on a regular basis. We go in and we tell parents about top apps that students are using and what our concerns are with them. We've tended to focus on that less and less in our parent presentations because we all know that next week it's going to be a new app, or next month it's going to be a new app, and we can't come back and educate you on all of those. So we really try to steer parents in the direction of educating themselves and staying up to date on what are the latest trends, and having open communication with their students, because that is really the best way to guide them through kind of this life experience.
Parents go for these resources if they don't have programming like this in their area?
Where do they go for them?
Sorry, did I just break up?
Yes, a little bit, yes.
Okay, I'll do it again.
Okay.
So where can parents go for resources like this if they don't have programming like this in their area?
Okay. So our very favorite source of information is Common Sense Media. It is an absolute treasure trove of anything that you need to know about media or technology. Anytime we go to watch a movie with our family, we go there and make sure that there's not any surprises in the movie. They have really great kind of small videos, small bites of videos explaining trends that are online or doing app reviews. We love Common Sense Media. It's the best place to go for all things digital. We also have a blog on our website that kind of gives our take on, app reviews or trends, or we try to give, positive uses of technology for families to engage in together, like, finding podcasts that are relevant to your whole family or enjoyable to your whole family. We tell them about, some apps that we're a little concerned about, but we also give them ways, hey, this is a little bit scary, but here's, A, B, and C that you can do to make it a little bit more safe for your child so that they're allowed to use it. So we do our blog, and we try to just give our kind of more open-ended perspective. But I will say that always number one, Common Sense Media is our favorite place to go. And we encourage parents to go there on a regular basis. We actually give them a rundown of how to decide whether your child can have an app or not. So say your sixth grader comes to you and says, I want Snapchat, and your immediate reaction is no. Well, we tell them, hey, you know what, here's what you do. Number one, go to Common Sense Media, see what they say about it. Number two, go to Project B3, say what we have to say about it. Number three, download it yourself, play with it, figure out why kids like it. Number four, have your student just connected to you, and you and your child can kind of practice how to use Snapchat in an appropriate way. And once you feel that they've got the reins, that they know the ins and outs, and they understand the rules, then go ahead and let them connect with people outside of your family. So we kind of give them a rundown of steps that they can take to make informed decisions, because when we're not there to tell them, then they need to know the steps to take to make those decisions for themselves and their family.
Right. And everything that you're doing with Project B3 is so important. Thank you so much for being here today and telling us more about the work that you're doing. Would you like to tell everyone where they can find more information?
Yes, our website is www.projectb3.org. We're also on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. We have a Project B3 Facebook page, and then we also have a Project B3 parent Facebook page that has a lot of information there. And our website is probably the best way to get some information on what we do and how we do it. And of course, everyone can always get in contact with me. My email is on the website, so I'm more than happy to talk through what we do and how we do it with anyone who's interested in participating in the program. I would say too that we've gone to a new model of train the trainer. So if we are not able to get to your school, and if we are not able to train your student leaders and give them those tools to be mentors in their school, we can now train teachers to kind of do exactly what we do and have some control over this program in their school. So we're pretty excited about that.
Awesome.
Yeah, we're excited about it.
Well, Tarah, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
And we will see you next time on the group.
Great. Thank you so much for having me. It was a pleasure.
Thank you. All right, that should do it.
Great. So the one thing we didn't talk about was Project C3, which is the high school program that we're launching.
Oh,
I
do
don't
you want to
know if you want to, I'd really love to, because I think it's really exciting. And I think it's really relevant and will be a great tool for schools.
Sure.
If
Okay.
there's, if you just have a few minutes, because it's my
Sorry,
baby right now.
editing. Okay.
Sorry.
No, it's totally fine. I should rest.
I also have a cough, sorry.
So I know that you're doing this program in the middle schools, but do you have any plans to expand this to other age groups, like in the high schools?
Meredith, I'm so glad you asked. Yes, actually, we have developed a new program for high school students. So once you have kind of the base of Project B3 and you get those building blocks of how to, work responsibly online and use social media in a responsible and safe way, we have Project C3. And so C3 stands for Create, Contribute, and Connect. So what we're doing is we're putting an online, we're developing an online course that will teach students how to create content. So we're focused on video and vlogging, podcasting, website creation and blogging, graphic design and photography for social media. So we'll be doing a quick start guide on if you want to become a blogger or you want to really get into putting your designs online. We're going to give you a quick start guide on how to do that. What we found is students are really anxious to participate in social media, and there is absolutely a value in participating in social media. But unless you are creating things and contributing to the online community and really connecting with people and causes and groups that interest you, the value is kind of lost. So we're finding that students are kind of consumers of social media right now instead of being creators. So we're trying to create the next generation of creators. So we're doing a quick start guide, which is the create. The contribute part is all about how to contribute online in a safe and responsible way. So we're going through best practices, how to choose the right platform for your message, media literacy and responsibility, and then also like giving credit to sources. And then the final step of that is connect, and that is how to connect with people and causes and communities that are important to you. So we give them some instruction on how to build a community online, how to create a network, how to support other creators, and then how to kind of curate your feed so that you are sure that you're getting your message through kind of a more pure way. So this is a course that students can take online. It's a course that teachers can use in their classrooms. And the end result actually of our course will be content for Project B3. So now we'll be getting the high school student voice into our main Project B3 program. So once they're done doing this course, they'll have a practice kind of project that they work on, and that will directly feed into our Project B3 program. And so completing the circle of being completely student-led, which we're really excited about.
That is so cool. And I love the way that you're not only focusing on kind of the negative things to come out of the internet and how to protect yourself, but also how do you put positive, great content out into the universe on the internet and being a productive member of internet society. I think that's cool.
Right. Instead of just re-memeing and retweeting and just kind of watching everything go by, the value really lies in getting in there and contributing to that online community. There is such a value in social media. It was meant to connect people. And unfortunately, this kind of, we think these digital natives, as we call them, we think that they innately know how to, create a YouTube video, or they innately know, how to blog or do design and push it out there. And they don't, unfortunately, they don't. They're just watching everything go by. And so we really want to add that value back in. And we want to empower their voices, not only in their schools and in their communities, but, spread that through social media as well, and really contribute. There's so many kids out there with great ideas and passion and talent. And, right now, social media is the way to get that out there. Not to mention that, the fact that it speaks volumes on your digital resume, so to speak. So we're really, really excited to get that out there and see what these students come up with.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for sharing that.
Of course. Thanks for asking.